see if this is working. It's got me on the wrong video at the moment, and I do have to sneeze. Let's see if I sneeze or get on the right video. It won't even let me close it out. Alright, it might go now. I've had this problem today with Twitch where it won't let me close the video out that I'm watching. And in the most important time. Okay. I do think it is working. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. It's working. I don't know why it took so long, but we're here for another Ring of Honor TV review, episode number 125 to be exact. The post Supercard of Honor edition of the ROH TV review series. As we're technically on the road to Death Before Dishonor. I think September 5th is the date for that, unless it changes. I'm double checking right now, and I am correct. It's a Friday at the 2300 Arena. I would love if they start building toward this event immediately, but I'm fairly certain that they will not start doing anything until after Forbidden Door, which it is what it is. But before we jump on to talk about Death Before Dishonor and even the 125th episode of ROH on Honor Club, let's talk about some of the important events of Supercard of Honor and by virtue kind of All In. I'm not gonna. If I was here to talk about both Supercard of Honor, All In, and this episode, we'd be here for a long ass time. And I made a long hour plus ROH review last week. So I also, when ROH does their pay-per-views, we only get 3 a year. I think they should boost that number up, but you know, it's kind of asking for a lot. Regardless, when ROH does their pay-per-views, I like to sit back, relax, not have to take notes, and just enjoy it. And Friday night for Supercard of Honor was a great event in itself. The notes that I have written down, I have 3 big ones to discuss. We kind of get some highlight. We get a lot of highlights throughout this episode of ROH, by the way. I'm not gonna. So this was a somewhat shorter episode of. It's 45 minutes to be exact, and I'd say at least 10ish, maybe even more of the minutes were All In and Supercard of Honor highlights. Regardless, my Supercard of Honor notes. Note number 1, and I will be an asshole to say, is probably my biggest takeaway. Dustin Rhodes went into this weekend and went 4-0. And I am including the ROH TV episode that we talked about last week just to boost his numbers up and to help him out. So he won in the main event of last week's ROH TV. He went to Supercard of Honor, and himself and Sammy Guevara defeated the Infantry to retain the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Would have liked to see the title change, but based on what happened afterwards, it is what it is. Now, what happened after that match was Shane Taylor Promotions attacking them, the Von Erichs coming out, and we got a match added to the All In pre-show. By the way, I was kind of complaining that the Von Erichs, I said it would make a lot of sense if Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and the Von Erichs collectively were known as the Sons of Texas because they're all from Texas and are allies and etc. They are collectively known as the Sons of Texas now. Regardless, this match happens on the pre-show, and the Sons of Texas defeat Shane Taylor Promotions. So they went 2-0 on Shane Taylor Promotions in the weekend itself. And sadly, Adam Cole relinquished his TNT Championship. We're wishing the best for him. We love Adam Cole around here. The situation that's going on right now absolutely sucks. But with the TNT Championship being relinquished, a fatal 4-way match was created with Kyle Fletcher facing Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and Daniel Garcia. And everyone penciled in Kyle Fletcher winning that match. And y'all were wrong because Dustin Rhodes won that matchup in Texas, won his first AEW championship. They don't count the ROH titles, I guess, but won the TNT Championship, the same title that his brother held several times. So it was a very cool moment, and it led to a lot of head scratching. I was not one of those people. I was happy that that moment happened, and I thought it was pretty cool. And again, it is insane that he went 4-0 on the weekend and now is the holder of 3 freaking championships. So we will see how often all of those are defended and etc. What all comes with. There's a lot of more responsibility now, especially with the TNT Championship. I complain a lot that the 6-man tag titles and the tag team titles aren't defended enough. Other people kinda complain about it. That TNT title, I will say, you ain't defended it, you ain't shown up, they gonna be on your ass. They gonna be coming at you. They ain't gonna just be me. But time will tell there. Congratulations to Dustin Rhodes. Now, another championship. The only title change that happened at Supercard of Honor was an interim title change. I told y'all that Red Velvet was out with an injury. I still don't know the severity of the injury or what the hell the injury even is. But a 4-way match was announced to crown the Women's Interim Television Championship. That is a lot to fucking say. And Mina Shirakawa won that. We're glad about that. We love Mina Shirakawa around here. Now, what sucks about that is that she got injured at All In, which we will discuss in a second. Don't worry. Now, I will say this. Interim titles are just so weird and are very rare. It's mainly an AEW thing. WWE technically did it. WrestleMania 10 with Shawn and Razor. That, is kind of, might be the best case of that happening. But regardless, this happened in wrestling history. It should be done way better. And what I mean by that is you have the legitimate champion in Red Velvet. You have the interim champion in Mina Shirakawa. When Red Velvet is healthy, and I guess now when Mina Shirakawa is healthy, it should lead to a big title versus title winner takes all match. And I hope that is the case. But in AEW's history, it's kind of not always been that. Cody and Sammy, when they did it for the TNT Championship, that was the best example of it and probably going to be difficult to top. CM Punk and Jon Moxley should have been that, and I felt that both of them being champions kind of felt forgotten because Jon Moxley was defender in the interim title so much that everybody just looked at him as the real champion, and they kind of forgot Punk was even champion to begin with. So they kind of shit the bed with that one. Thunder Rosa, when Toni Storm was interim champion for Thunder Rosa while she was at, we never got the title unification bout. Granted, Thunder Rosa was still out with injury for another year plus at that point. My point is, a lot of people are pissed about this being an interim championship, which I understand. There should be a time limit on it, a set date on it, etc. Hopefully it doesn't drag out. And like I said, when both competitors are healthy, we should get a big title unification match out of it. Now, like I said, Mina Shirakawa got banged up and injured at All In the Women's Casino Gauntlet match, and apparently it happened by the winner, Athena, our Women's World Champion Athena. Not only is still the Women's World Champion, but now she has added a AEW Women's title shot at any time because she won the Casino Gauntlet in Texas. It's weird because as a big Athena fan and defender, it hurts because there's a slight chance that her time in ROH might be coming to an end, which I've kind of thought that for over the past year, but it's still continued on. I would understand if it did. I do want to put that out. But she does not have the best winning track record in AEW. That should start to change. Hopefully it does change. Like I said, she just got a big victory on the biggest show of the year. There's a bit of concern there, I will admit. So there's a lot to look into with Athena having this championship match lined up. Speaking of championship match, probably the biggest takeaway from Supercard of Honor was the main event match. Bandito versus Kadose Takeshita for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Thank you for this match being booked, and thank you for doing it at Supercard of Honor and giving us a big-time matchup for ROH, and a lot of freaking eyes were on this matchup. And I am a bit biased in what I'm about to say. Outside of the FTR and Briscoes matches that happened in this Tony Khan era Ring of Honor, this is probably the best match that has happened in ROH since then. I think I always have a high spot for those Briscoes FTR matches, mainly the last one. But this Bandito Takeshita match is on that level, maybe even a little bit better. So it is definitely hard to say as of right now, but again, a lot of people are watching this matchup. A lot of people love this matchup. A lot of people even say it was the best matchup, not of just that show, obviously of the show, but of the weekend. And there was a lot of freaking wrestling that happened this weekend. It was a very fun weekend. Supercard of Honor happened, All In happened, Great American Bash happened, Saturday Night's Main Event happened, Evolution happened. There's a lot of complaints not even a lot. The positive outweighs the negative. The main negative that kinda came from this weekend is Saturday Night's Main Event would be 10 times more fun if they didn't shove commercials down our damn faces all the time. But I had to get that off my chest. I don't really talk about WWE that much on the program. And I don't talk about AEW that much on the program unless it is infecting AEW and or it's a pay-per-view weekend. So I was trying to wrap that all in at once. Pun not intended, but kind of intended, etc. So there's a lot to discuss. Those are kind of my Supercard of Honor notes. We're 10 minutes probably, over 10 minutes into this video. Let's get into talking about what happened on episode 125 of ROH on Honor Club. This matchup that we have set up here involves the three people or a team. Winners from All In. Let's put it that way. I don't know why I struggled so much to say it. I'm sweating like an MF right now. So like I said, this was a quicker episode of ROH. And again, a lot of it was Supercard of Honor recaps, which I went over most of them here. I will admit that there were two backstage segments / vignettes. One involved MXM TV, which is Johnny TV, Taya Valkyrie, and the MXM collection, and they're promoting their product that they're selling titled Their Seed, and this is kind of a shorter version of what they did at Supercard of Honor. And the Frat House lost at Supercard of Honor, but their backstage vignette was showing them celebrating still after their matchup. Not even really celebrating, trying to get over their loss, I guess you could say, at the bar. So, what happened on this episode? Also, important note, Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni were at ringside for this episode. A very rare occasion that happens, but they were obviously there in town to film for Supercard of Honor. It's not the biggest deal, but, I wanted to make note of it because it doesn't happen all the time. And it was a different opening because you see their faces. It was like, oh, y'all are here. Hooray. Opening contest, Lee Johnson taking on Atlantis Jr. We got wrist locks and a flying head scissors, followed by an outside tope by Atlantis Jr. Then, when the referee's back is turned, Blake Christian gets involved and hits a rolling German suplex on Atlantis Jr. Atlantis Jr. later retaliates by super kicking him. We get a springboard moonsault / lion salt by Johnson, getting a 2 count. Then we get a second rope Canadian destroyer and frog splash, leading to an Atlantis Jr. victory. Which again, I don't think Atlantis Jr. has lost on ROH TV. I don't want to say ROH in general, but I'm fairly certain he's never lost on ROH TV. A quick matchup takes place up next between Diamante and Maya World. This happens because we get an immediate attack after the Code of Honor by Diamante and a dominant showing by Diamante, winning off of a code red. Then, the match of the night here. Michael Oku taking on Jay Lethal, two men that competed at Supercard of Honor and did not pick up a victory. Now, I was definitely upset that Jay Lethal lost to Blake Christian at Supercard of Honor because Jay Lethal is a Ring of Honor legend. Blake Christian is not. Michael Oku is on the come up, and it does not appear as much in Ring of Honor, but I do enjoy seeing him compete, and this is more likely will be in the thumbnail of the video because, like I said, this is the best matchup on this episode. We get quick pinfalls early by Oku. We get lots of head scissors and kicks as well by him. It is slowed down with Lethal applying a figure 4. Then Oku lands a dive to the outside. In the ring, he misses his corner drop kick with Lethal landing a cutter and then doubling up by delivering a lethal injection to pick up the victory. Main event time. Hechicero takes on Angelico. We get no Code of Honor and lots of submission attempts that don't ever really happen. It's just kind of them taunting one another like, oh, are they going to apply it? And then they don't. This slightly changes up when Rocky Romero at ringside interferes and distracts Angelico. I will say, Serpentico was at ringside and did not really help Angelico at all, which was, Rocky Romero's doing it. aren't you? And Helico does land a drop kick, which Hechicero was trying to do something off of the top rope. Rocky then distracts Angelico again, setting up Hechicero to land a pop-up knee and backbreaker for the win. The Serpentico finally gets involved. The match is done. He finally gets involved just to get beat up, and Hologram makes the save for the Spanish Announce Project as we wrap up this episode of ROH. Like I said, kind of a quicker episode. Hopefully we get some momentum going, because Supercard of Honor, a lot of people enjoy Supercard of Honor, and especially the main event. Hechicero, Bandito, more than likely will be happening for the Ring of Honor title at some point, because Hechicero, after the match, had a face-to-face with Bandito. So we will see when exactly that lines up and whatnot. So I am starting to sweat. So I'm going to try to wrap this up. I don't really have anything quick and witty to say other than that. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. If y'all want to know who wins, I'll comment down below. I'm out for now. Goodbye.